Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Ho, ho, ho. And a couple of That's how you left the away in the merry land of Oz.
We've never introed like that before.
No, we haven't. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Secret Level. I'm your host, Joey Parr. Welcome, welcome. This is the second part of our two-part episode of The NeverEnding Story. That wonderful, beautiful, sad, depressing film that we all loved and made us cry when we were kids. Traumatized us.
It still gets me to this day.
And joining me is that guy who just talked.
It is me once again.
Billy
Yes.
Fisher
Mm-hmm.
is here with us today. Again.
Yes.
And again. And again. And
It's
again.
like I never leave.
You don't.
I don't. I just sit here and wait for you.
Also joining us, it's Drew Balls!
Hey, hey guys, what's up? I'm
He's
back. Round two
for the NeverEnding Story. This is going to be the NeverEnding podcast. I don't know how long we're going to talk about this movie, but there's so much to talk about. We couldn't all fit it into one episode unless we wanted that episode to be over 2 hours long, which, do people listen to podcasts that are over 2 hours long?
Masochists, yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe there are some masochists out there that would
Yeah.
listen to it.
Why not? Yeah. If
here
if
for
they're
everyone.
listening to this show, why wouldn't they?
That's what I'm saying. Why wouldn't they? I 100% agree with you.
If they're
But
listening
if
to
you
this show,
do
they're true citizens.
Yeah.
So
If they
before
do
we...
stick around,
Oh.
they're champs. That's what they are.
Oh.
They are.
But before we jump into this, before we continue on our never-ending journey with the never-ending story, Billy,
Yes,
tell
sir.
us about something. Tell us something.
Are we gonna do niceties again?
It's time for some niceties.
Yes.
And so, I don't know how you guys are, but I look at the Harry Potter series as like, it's not something that you start and stop. It's something that you have to keep going. So I've been sucked into the Harry Potter audiobook vortex. So I'm just finishing that
You're
up.
binging.
I am. I can't stop. It's like,
Okay.
yeah, it's like Kill Bill. You can't watch Kill Bill 2. You have to watch Kill Bill 1 and then 2.
Oh, I see.
Oh,
Okay, I
yes,
was gonna say.
yes.
Yeah, you
No, that does make sense. That does track.
yeah, it's one big story and you have to make it through. So that's just the way I look at it. It's been making me happy, and in this day and age, we need to find the joy in life.
I agree.
Fantastic.
Yeah, what about you there, Droobles? What have you been up to?
Well, quite a few things have been dropping lately, and I've been just trying to pick up the pieces.
Like a puzzle? Were you putting together
Yeah,
a puzzle?
kinda.
Did it fall on the floor and break, and now you're just picking up
It
pieces?
did, because I lost my place of so many things I've been watching, and I forgot what I was watching.
Oh.
So it's just been a jigsaw of like, oh yeah, we were watching this. And
Oh.
so you dive back into that thing.
Oh.
Nice. What's it been? What have you been diving into?
I've been on Apple TV, and The Shrink Next Door is
Oh,
fantastic. With Paul
yes.
Rudd and Will Ferrell. I don't know if
my
you guys have been
gosh.
watching that
I
at all.
just started it.
The first episode, like, I'm caught up with it, but the first episode was brilliant. It was so well done. Like the use of space. There's a scene where he's like, they're walking down the sidewalk, and Will Ferrell, like Paul Rudd's in the center of frame, and Will Ferrell has like been pushed off, and he's against the buildings and stuff. They're in New York, and all the obstacles and people, Will Ferrell is like shifting and moving out of the way, and he's like being little, and then Paul Rudd is just taking up all the space. He moves for nobody,
That's awesome.
And then there's
Yeah.
another opposite scene where Farrell's in the center and Rudd's on the end, like he's been pushed off. But if any obstacle comes up, he like jumps ahead of Farrell and then moves to the side. And it's just this great use of like showcasing their characters with space as opposed to like, I thought it was brilliant. And then the other thing I watched real quick, since I don't know when I'll be on your show again, and I gotta get this off my chest.
Get it off your chest. Go for it.
The remake of Cowboy Bebop. Have either of you watched any of it?
I have only. I've just started the first episode. I'm late to the game on this. I know.
Me too.
I just have been super.
Have you seen the
busy.
original anime?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh no, that's fine. So there is so much potential there.
Yeah, the first. I'll tell you because I've watched the first episode so far, and it's it's still building its momentum, and I'm like, okay,
sure.
I'm digging it, but they really need to like get the ball rolling.
Yeah, and for me, it's you get that same build up without the payoff. Basically, you're so close. You got the sets, you got the atmosphere is pretty decent.
They nailed
but
all of that
they're
stuff.
missing some beats with everything, and the visual effects all of a sudden. Sometimes they're great. Other times they're like, I feel like a YouTuber did this visual effect,
So how far
and
along
not
are
a good
you
one.
How far along are you in the series?
I'm more than halfway through, and I'm just like not terribly impressed. And I was rooting for it because I love adaptations. I love reboots.
Plus the
I have no
trailers,
problem.
The trailers look great. They released
Yeah,
that short,
they were really
that
fun.
stylistic short film that like, oh man, is the series going to be like this? Because that's
That was
awesome.
So good.
Yeah.
But then it wasn't like that.
It wasn't. It was like
You guys aren't really giving me much hope at the moment.
I know, and one of my pet peeves with a lot of animes, and Cowboy Bebop was the exception, was sort of one of my big issues with a lot of animes is the fact that they are not subtle. They kind of lack nuance. It just sort of the character just says what they're feeling, right?
Yeah.
They don't have any subtext.
Sure.
Cowboy Bebop, that anime actually was subtle, and they didn't spell everything else for you, so you actually had to watch it to appreciate everything that was going on, right? This show did not take that over, and sometimes they will straight up say what they're thinking and feeling, and you're like, what the hell? Come on, guys.
I noticed some of that for sure.
I know, John Cho, I know you're a better actor than this.
But man, that's kind of discouraging because I was looking forward to getting into the other episodes. So the fact that you're halfway through it and you're still feeling how I'm feeling right now about it.
Yes.
That's not good. But I'll get through it. I'll watch all episodes.
I hope so. Yeah.
See how it turns out.
Legitimately was super excited for it, and I wanted to see it succeed, and it's not quite there. There's some good stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not quite there.
Okay.
For me.
Yeah.
Well, you know what is a good show?
What's
that?
that?
You
What is a good
both
show,
need to
Joey?
watch.
Okay.
Since while we're on the topic of like shows and stuff, have you watched that League of Legends animated series Arcane?
I have.
Okay, this show is off the charts amazing. Like it blew my mind. Story, strong, solid. Character development, top notch character development and
100%.
storytelling, and how all the characters connect and the way the story flows. And then you've just got this amazing animation style that is completely unique.
Yes.
That I just
Oh,
love.
it is so good.
Everything has weight, and it's not cheap animation. And there are these fight sequences that happen in this thing that just blow my mind because they're so well done.
Yeah.
Everything about this series, like it is probably one of my favorite things that has come out. It's one of my favorites.
It is pretty spectacular. I admit, I got into League, a little bit. Like I kind of dipped my toes in it, and I was like, "This is fun," but it wasn't really my thing.
I never played League of Legends.
Okay,
I've never even played it. So I came into this completely blind, knowing very little. I knew that there were two sisters, Vi and Jinx.
Vi and Jinx,
who end up kind of on opposite ends of the spectrum in the story.
Yes. And they do it so well.
It is And it's filled with emotion, too. I was shocked. I was not expecting this at all from the show. And now we're building it up so much that Billy's going to go watch it. And I hope it lives up to the expectations. But it is amazing.
What are you guys talking about?
If any of you
so here's the thing.
haven't watched the show yet, you need to watch it. I plead for you to watch it because it's so good.
I agree with him, Billy. Yeah, you do.
Well, here's the deal. How is it compared to Demon Slayer? Because to me right now, Demon Slayer
it's completely different.
No, I mean I just mean with
I've never
the
seen
emotional
it, so.
bonding. Oh no!
I'll tell you what. I love Demon Slayer. I love the movie.
Yes.
I love all that stuff. But for me, if I were to pick one that I had to live with, if I was stuck on an island and they were like, "Are you gonna pick Demon Slayer or Arcane?" I'm gonna be like, Arcane all the way, no question, hands down.
Interesting. Oh.
Whoa.
Wow.
I mean, I would have been in the same boat, but that's because I haven't seen Demon Slayer.
Yeah.
Also, why am I in the same boat as you, going towards a deserted island?
Because that's what makes
What's
me
this
happy.
setup? What's this business?
Well, we were on that cruise and it sank.
Oh, that's right.
And everyone died because of that one crazy guy that locked everyone in the hole.
And kept telling them, pick Arcane or Demon Slayer.
Luckily, we got away.
Well, yeah,
And on the
and
life
we're only
raft.
able to download one series.
Yeah, and we're like, you got to use the internet before it's gone. Download a season from Netflix.
But yes,
And that's all we got.
If any of you have not watched Arcane yet on Netflix, put that at the top of your list because you will not be
Interesting.
disappointed.
I guess I'm going to have to go check that out right now.
I'm actually watching it again right now with my daughter, and she is just loving it.
Yeah.
So,
Excuse me.
Billy burped. All right,
First time.
so
first time
I can smell it from here.
let's jump into some never-ending story goodness, shall we? Burps and everything.
Here we go.
Burps and all.
So Hathaway had some words to say about this experience that he went through. He says, I feel like I sent people to therapy over that scene with Artex. The horse they used was really wonderful. They spent a couple days teaching her to be okay with being up to her neck with water. And then he explains, so the way they did that scene was that they had this little elevator under the water that slowly dropped the horse lower and lower. When it got to its chin area, we'd cut the scene. That one scene took over 2.5 weeks to shoot.
Holy crap.
Whoa.
In regards to the rumor, the real horse never really died. So don't worry. The horse had a long life and lived. They were more careful with that horse than they were with me. I got hurt a hell of a lot more. The horse was definitely looked after well. He says, I broke my back working on the movie and was in the hospital in traction for like a month before we started filming. We had a horse that we were training to fall on me while we were working with the horses maybe a couple of weeks before shooting.
Oh, wow.
So while they were training this horse, the horse was apparently supposed to jump a fence while Noah was riding on it. And it missed the fence. And the horse fell on top of him. And he even got trampled while the horse was like getting back up. This resulted in spinal fractures that led to titanium screws and a 2-month hospital stay. He went on to say, on one end, it's some of the most wonderful parts of my life, shooting the movie, and in another aspect, it is the worst parts of my life.
No kidding.
Jeez.
And that wasn't even the end of it.
Wait,
So he gets his back broken riding a horse. He almost drowns getting pulled under the water when the elevator takes him too far down.
Yeah.
Right.
Then he almost loses an eye and is crushed by a robot.
Wait.
So
What
Gort-
robot?
Gamork, the giant wolf.
The wolf?
Yep. When the
Oh my
wolf,
gosh, really?
that scene where he's jumping at him is the real
Yeah.
robot
Okay.
of Gmork.
Look, that's
Really?
Yeah.
I thought that was like a
Yes.
guy in a suit.
So that
No.
scene is funny on so many levels because when I watched it, it looks like they shot Gmork out of a freaking cannon out of that
does.
cave. He
Seriously.
just shoots at a trail and just like obviously pummeled him, almost
Yeah.
killing him.
Yep.
Right.
But like it like lands on him. One of the claws like inserts into his face just below his eye, almost taking his eye out.
Ooh.
And essentially crushes him because it lands on top of him.
Yeah, this is 1980s animatronics, not this like carbon fiber frames and stuff.
This
know?
was also 1980s filmmaking techniques.
Yeah, so
in
it was essentially a
Vessels of travel.
Volkswagen covered in fur.
in Germany.
Yeah.
So- but man, that kid, and he did most of his own scenes, so that kid was tough as nails.
He
man.
did all of it. He did most of his own stunts for the film.
That's crazy.
He's like, he was the kid Tom Cruise, except Tom Cruise never got so hurt on any of his stunts as much as this kid did.
right?
But it's crazy because
Man.
at this day and age, there'd be so many lawsuits happening
many.
all over the place, like child
Oh
endangerment.
my goodness.
Look at all the
Oh,
child
yeah, 100%.
endangerment, dude. This kid, it almost took his life 3 times. It's crazy.
Oh jeez.
Yep.
Were his
And
parents not there or something?
Who knows?
That's a good question. That is a great question.
Jeez. They're just like counting the money
But-
he's making from the movie. They're like, yeah, no, you're doing great, kid.
He'll be fine.
Actually, there is a bit on his family. Hold on, let me find that real quick.
Oh.
Oh, well, look at you, Captain Research.
First of all, before I get in that, according to the director, Noah had this attitude on set, and apparently he was a pretty unlikable kid. So maybe karma, I don't know. The director didn't care for him though.
Oh no.
He was more concerned about the horse, so
Yeah.
Right.
Well, here's what Peterson said. He said the character of Bastion was so different from Atreyu, which was the whole idea. He was more of a nerdy character, and the other was the hero. The back and forth between them in the film were quite nice. As kids and as actors, the two were just very different from one another. Barrett Oliver, who played Bastion, was always hanging around, holding my hand. He was so sweet. It was almost like I was his father. He was so nice, warm, loving. And when talking about Noah Hathaway, he said he had this attitude from the very beginning. He was Atreyu. He walked his own path. He had his own style, and that was good. Not that I liked it that much because it was so much easier to work with Barrett. But on the other hand, it was right for the part. He held his head up high, and he was a hero. Now, when talking about his parents, apparently his parents were almost trying to blackmail the production at times. So,
Oh.
yeah, Peterson said, I didn't care so much that he had an attitude, but it was an attitude that you could tell was put there by his parents. They were making so many demands and were essentially trying to blackmail the production. The crazy thing is, and if they wanted to blackmail the production and have all the money in the world, they could have just sued everyone for almost killing their son 3 times.
Honestly, I mean, I could see it from the point of view of the director, but I also wonder if they themselves were like, you almost killed our son. Like, we want safety and stuff like that around here. And he's just like, you guys are being overbearing.
Stop blackmailing me.
Yeah, true though. You're right. They might have been like that.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
I guess he
Filmmaking-
figured he lived, so it was okay.
Filmmaking was such a different world back then.
Hey, I mean, he is a German filmmaker. Maybe he was just very practical. It's like, he's still alive. we continue with the making of the movie. Yes.
Oh man.
Now, did you know this? I had no idea about this, and it comes from Noah Hathaway, but it's hard for me to believe, but maybe it's true. I mean, Hathaway said this at Dragon Con back in 2010. He said he said that virtually none of his recorded dialogue was used in the film. Instead, they hired a different actor to dub all of his lines.
Really?
Yeah.
That makes sense though, because if you watch it,
It says
there's certain times that his mouth doesn't match what he's saying, like how he's saying it.
Yeah, he says Hathaway's voice is actually rather high and has no accent. So the voice of Atreyu is this whole other actor.
Huh.
Which
Do we know who that was?
I tried looking it
Was
up.
it
in
Ralph
IMDb.
Macchio?
It probably was.
did
No,
you
IMDb has
find
nothing
anything?
on it. Nope. There's no. There are some guys they say are voice actors, so it could possibly be those guys.
okay.
Like unaccredited voice people. So it could be any of them.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
That is fascinating. Okay.
Poor guy.
Well, you know, just he's going and he's watching. And he's like, "Do I sound like that?"
That would be so weird though to shoot a movie like this, be technically the lead star
Right. Yeah.
and have all of your dialogue dubbed. That's just weird.
Yeah. I'm curious because I know like they went through a whole casting process
Yeah.
to define Atreyu, but did they go through that for Bastion? Because I don't know about you, but I connected with Bastion over Atreyu.
Oh, me too.
Like, is that how you felt?
Yeah.
When you watching the movie as a kid?
For sure. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, we were like cutting away from Bastion to Atreyu. So like for me, that disconnect kind of made it sort of like, well, we're not really following Atreyu until you get more into the movie and you realize that, you know, the connection and stuff.
Yeah, and so actually there's not a lot of information on Barrett Oliver, the kid who played Bastion. Like there's I couldn't find much regarding his process of getting the role in the movie. And he had a very brief career in acting. After this, he starred in Daryl and
Cocoon.
And then he just stopped acting altogether.
That was it.
He was in
Still-
Frankenweenie.
He wasn't Frankenweenie.
He was Victor Frankenstein.
And I think that was the last movie he did before he ended up stopped acting.
He did. The last thing he did was scenes from the class struggle in Beverly Hills.
I don't
That
know.
was 1989. Yeah, no,
That
exactly.
sounds like
yeah.
a made-for-TV movie.
It does sound like a made-for-TV movie. But it was rated R and has Wallace Shawn in it, so...
Oh, I can get behind it then. Yeah. Anything with Wallace Shawn in it is okay in my book.
I do have a bit of trivia about Barrett Oliver, though. Where
go.
he is currently.
Bring it.
He is a very low-key photographer. He's also a very particular kind of photographer. He does tintype, you know, the one that puts it like on glass and stuff.
Really?
Like that's what he does now. He's a photographer, but with like really, you know, like out there niche stuff.
Yeah, and I did see a photo of him, like a more of a recent photo, and he's got like a Moses beard and everything.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but he kind of looks like Marilyn Manson, you know. Charles Manson, excuse me, not Marilyn Manson.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say, there's a big difference between those two.
And I was thinking, oh, did he go like full Unabomber? But no, he's just doing his own creative thing, you know.
Yeah, it's cool.
I think he even took like a portrait of like President Obama back in the day and stuff. So,
but
like, crazy.
I like the films that he starred in back in the day. Like
Totally.
Daryl is another favorite of mine. Like I love
that one's
movie.
a fun one. Yeah.
And so it's interesting, but you know when you get out of if acting isn't your thing anymore and you want to go on a separate journey, then take that road, which he did.
Yeah, exactly.
Just wasn't for him anymore.
Good for
obviously.
him. Yeah.
As far as Tammy Stach goes,
Oh yes.
that
yes.
The Childlike Empress.
Childlike Empress, yeah, she was. She's my first on-screen crush. Gotta say.
Hell yeah!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yep.
Man, like, I remember, and it's still like embedded in my mind, like a 10-year-old kid watching this movie, and she pops up on screen for the first time, and I'm just instantly in love.
Yep.
It's
Dude. Yeah.
It's so weird being as old as I am now and watching the movie and have my mind revert back to that 10-year-old self of how I was feeling when I first saw her for the first time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
Yep.
I mean, not to make you guys feel old, but this movie came out the year before I was born.
Yeah. we were 5.
Yeah. I was so I saw this like in a home video and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And I do have very vivid memories of watching it, but because of the wolf monster, Gomorrah or whatever, I don't think I ever saw the movie fully because I would get too scared at those parts and I would find the courage to come back and try to finish the movie with my brothers, and they'd all tease me about it. But I do remember that movie, and it was just all over. So it was like a patchwork of imagery of this, wild adventure that this kid was going on. And it was like, Bastion was here, and then Atreya was here. And so that through line, I didn't appreciate it until later in my life when I finally sat down and watched it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's why he was doing that with the turtle and the
It was like the whole movie is just filled with fantastic imagery, like from beginning to end. And the Childlike Empress, Tammy Stronach.
Yeah,
man,
Stronach.
Yeah, Stronach.
Like it was like she wasn't real when I watch it.
No. Even now when I watch it, like I say, my mind reverts back to when I first saw it, that young, impressionable memory I have of her. And she was just like the most beautiful thing I had ever seen in my life at that point in my life. Like, freak, man.
Oh
yeah.
I do remember seeing her and going, who is this? What is going on with this? And the way she was lit and shot, like smeared Vaseline over the lens. It's like she's a little angel.
Yeah, and then you have that last scene, where she's like pleading for Bastion, say my name. Like,
yes.
Even now, I still like. It emotionally gets me. Like,
yep.
My 100%.
My heart swells with emotion when that happens. She's such a great actress. She was 11 years old at the time when she shot this, but she seemed like she was well beyond those years. Like, she was way older than 11, and she was acting like it. Like,
yeah, she was an old soul.
For sure. It blew me. It blows me away. Seeing it now, how well of an actress she was back then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and then after this movie, she ended up going into dance after this, and didn't star in any movies until like over 25 years after she made this one. She's like, I'm gonna get back into acting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
And also, before she started filming this movie, she lost her 2 front teeth. Before she started filming this movie. Mind you, she's 11. She's losing her teeth.
Oh, jeez.
And so she wore fake teeth, and that caused a slight lisp in the film. If you notice, there's a slight lisp, and it's because of the fake teeth she had to wear.
Huh.
Bastian.
Oh, man.
But, man, when she's pleading for Bastion, though, to say her name, what a wonderful wonderful scene.
It was a great scene.
Oh,
This movie did a great job of building tension. And
So
I think
much.
especially affecting kids because it's a child, it's a little boy who has to like stand up and face his fears and say, "Okay, I'm going to take charge of my life,"
yeah, because he's like, okay, I'll do it. I'll say your name.
That's right.
Speaking of the name that he yells out, forever, my whole childhood was like, what did he say? What did he say? He just yelled out into the thunder, lightning, and rain. And all I heard as a kid was,
I mean, that sounds perfect. Her name is Manaya.
That's what he said, right?
Yeah, that's it.
But as probably a lot of listeners know, as you know, now we know the name he yelled was Moonchild, which I assume was the name of his mom?
Yeah, in the book, it's the name of his mom.
Yeah, she's from the 60s.
Yeah, so it makes sense. So
Wait, no. Are you being serious? That was the name of his mom?
Yep.
yeah, that's the name
Absolutely.
that he yells out. At
How
the
are we
end.
supposed to know that? It's in the book, but you didn't translate that. You just randomly picks a name.
But it's
Right.
It's funny though because when you watch the movie now and you listen to him scream out the window, you can hear him yell, "Moonchild!"
Right. But I don't know.
Yeah.
It kind of ruined the fantasy for me because,
When you found out the name,
yeah,
yeah,
because it was such he loved his mom so much. He lost her. She was such a mythical creature in his life at that point.
Right.
We didn't need to know the name.
yeah.
That was for him.
But it also was a sweet moment for him to be like, I'm going to honor my mom right now because she had the most beautiful name in the world, and I want to give that name to the most beautiful childlike princess in the world.
Right.
Empress.
Empress.
Yep. But I
What
mean,
did I
yeah.
say?
Princess.
Oh, Empress, yes.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like it both ways. I like knowing, but I kind of liked it also not knowing because it added to the mystique of his mom, like somebody he wasn't allowed to talk about.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can too, but I can also appreciate the fact that he would use her name. But at the
Oh,
same
yeah,
time,
totally.
we never needed to know it was Moonchild. We just needed to know
Well,
it was
not that we never needed to know. My opinion is you didn't give us clues that was. We didn't get the
Sure.
rosebud at the beginning of the movie.
Yes.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
like you could have had Moonchild just on a plaque somewhere, and we wouldn't have associated that with a name, an actual real person's name.
Right.
But then to get some sort of explanation as to why Moonchild, he could have been like, "It was my mom's name," like telling that to the Childlike Empress.
Yeah.
I would have appreciated that. Then it would have been like, oh, "That's so sweet."
I like it.
when talking about
But yeah, whatever.
when talking about casting Stach, Peterson said the Empress meant so much to so many little girls because she was at the center of this universe created in the NeverEnding Story. That's the whole world of Fantasia.
Sure.
Everyone comes from all over Fantasia to find a cure to save the sick Empress. And she's up there on her throne, high up in the ivory tower. She's the queen of everything and the most powerful, but also vulnerable because she's so sick. I can imagine little girls saw her and were in awe that was possible. Audience were so used to seeing men who were at the center of stories, and they were the powerful ones, not little girls. So what a surprise it must have been for them. It was such an awesome, awesome thing to watch. It was so smart that Michael Ende created this character, that he made this little girl an empress. She reigns, and she is the top. And if she's sick, the whole world is in trouble.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's really
intense.
cool.
Yeah.
But the thing is, even as a little boy, right, watching this movie, it was cool for me too. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It changes your worldview, man.
Yeah, totally. And she was just so darn beautiful.
It's telling that I know as a little boy, I was thinking, where's her dad? And so for it to finally kind of dawn on me that, no, she is the top tier here, it's like, oh, that it really, like I said, it's world eye-opening to a new world of possibilities. And you realize, oh, other people can do this stuff, it's representation, right?
Right.
Yep.
Yep. I mean, yeah, it was amazing. I actually really appreciate that they went in that route. That
Sure.
everybody was there to support. You know what I mean? It wasn't something unusual. Even today, it's still unusual when you have a strong female character. Like, people are still looking at it as a novel thing. But it's it's been trying to break through for a while. Right.
As for
but no, I agree.
As for Stronach's point of view of the whole thing, she said,
oh yeah,
I loved having Wolfgang as a director. He was so clear about what he wanted, and I loved the fact that he treated us with so much respect. It was so wonderful to be around an adult that didn't underestimate children. In some ways, that's the heart of the stories. Bastian is underestimated by everyone, and he's capable of so much imagination and compassion. Somehow, at the heart of this film, there's this desire to validate children's experience in treating kids like they are smart, capable beings is sort of philosophically in line with that. She went on to say, I remember this moment where Peterson took Barrett aside and said to him, listen, this is the moment where you're going to have to give her the name, which changes everything. And if you want to create your own name, you don't have to say Moonchild. Moonchild is her chosen name in the book and in the script. At the time, I didn't know there was going to be a big thunderclap and it was going to be muffled, so I didn't think much of it. I remember Barrett really concentrating and thinking and deciding what he was going to say. It was such a sweet process. And then he goes to Wolfgang and says, I think Moonchild is right. So they decided to stick with that.
Wow.
So they gave that kid the option to be like, look, you can rename her if you want.
It's
like,
got
no.
carte blanche.
But it's like,
Well, to make it more personal to him, make it a more emotional
yeah.
scream. But I mean, I like what he did.
Oh, for sure.
Same.
It just means more that way. Because, what if you went and said something stupid?
Chicken butt!
Abracadabra! She can't have that name. No.
It's like, I got it. We're fighting against nothing, so she's something.
Yep, see?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So, in regards, since you bring up the nothing, whenever we see the nothing, we see these rolling clouds like coming through the sky, and it gives like an indication of a presence, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people, when you watch it, you're like, oh man, look, the nothing's really coming in quick. But according to
Dude,
the
I was so afraid of the nothing.
the thing is those storm clouds are not the nothing. Those are just,
Okay.
they explain the nothing is an invisible force that is just wrecking havoc on Fantasia. So all the clouds and stuff you see is just being caused by the nothing.
It's being caused by nothing. Come on, Joey.
Well, I mean, I guess it works. That's like the oncoming of the storm. That's gonna just wipe everything out. That's just
Totally, yeah.
yeah.
But
I
yeah,
love
no,
it.
like to have like nothing.
Yeah, that's not fun to watch. It just goes to a blank screen for a while. It's gonna get you.
It's like watching The Happening.
Oh,
It's like nothing's happening.
did not like the happening at all.
I can't believe I spent money to go see that.
I'm glad I didn't.
A few other little tidbits. Atreyu was originally supposed to be green in the movie.
What?
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah. They were going to paint his skin green, but they opted not to because it just didn't work visually.
That looked ridiculous.
At the time. Now you can do it you can do it all day. They have makeup and stuff.
Well, you wouldn't even have to paint him green. You could just use that one like filter, basically.
Yeah. Or even just
make yourself
look what they do with Gamora in the Guardians of the Galaxy films.
Yeah.
So, I mean, now it could work, but it'd still be a little weird seeing a green version of Atreyu. But yeah, that was the original. That would have
been the 4th time he almost died from his skin not getting enough oxygen.
Like the Tin Man, he was
and
really
lead-based taint. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like lead-based. It's still fine. It's fine.
It works better this way because I don't know. It goes with my theory. It continues on. This is all based in Bastion's mind. So he would pick somebody that looks more like himself. Yeah. Just more hero-esque. Being green, it's
not easy being green.
It's not easy being green.
It's also not easy being cheesy.
Ooh, good point.
Yep. And the opening scene where the rock biter comes riding his tricycle.
It's a fantastic character, by the way.
Well, I never realized it was a tricycle until the HD version came out. I just thought he was pushing like one of those things that flattens people's lawns after you like aerate it or whatever. Like legitimately, I was like, okay.
Like, I wish those three had a like offshoot movie short of their own.
I love those guys, and I'd love to see
that was the best part of the movie.
See a spin-off of just those characters' journey.
The Night Hob, the Rock Biter, the Racing Snail. But I'm so down.
But what I was getting at is the Night Hob says a profanity in that opening scene, but we don't hear it because it's dubbed over by the grumble of the Rock Biter's little bike. I couldn't find what the profanity was. I couldn't find what it was. I just says that there was a profanity that is dubbed over, but I'd like to know. I'd like to know what the Night Hob was saying that was so vulgar at the time while they were camping. Right. And it's funny because these guys are all around the campfire and they're all like, looks like they're settling in for the night, right? When the rock biter comes, and then they get in the conversation with him and they start sharing their experiences and they find out that they're on the same journey to the ivory tower. And then all of a sudden, the snail guy, what's his name?
Oh, dude.
Deep Roy.
Deep Roy.
Yeah. He jumps up and he's like, so what are we waiting for? Let's go. Like, you guys are just getting ready to go to bed, it looks like, and now you're getting pumped up to get to the ivory tower.
Yeah. Dude, that's totally me, though. I get so pumped. We're doing it now.
Well, and it's funny. That guy is the same guy that plays like is in Willy Wonka or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Tim Burton's version.
Deep Roy. Yeah, he's
he's in a lot.
Yeah.
He's in the latest versions of Star Trek.
I didn't even realize that until now. I didn't realize that was him. Yeah, until I watched this last time, and then I started doing research. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is the same guy that does all these movies. I had no idea. Yeah. Crazy.
Nah, he's great.
He's so young.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? So svelte, too.
Look at you. Good job, Deep Roy.
Now, there were 2 scenes that were written in the script that ended up being cut out due to special effects limitations. The first
limitations?
Oh, yeah, limitations. It was the 80s.
Look, they're not limited, when it comes to hurting their star actor. But, I mean, the other things they got to cut out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So the first was the initial appearance of Falcor, where Atreyu rescues him from a swarm of poisonous wasps, taking the form of a giant spider. That would have been cool to see. I can see why they didn't do it, but damn, the imagination is pretty awesome there, right?
Yeah.
Seeing that in my head, I love it. This is where Bastion's scream being heard by the characters in the book was to have originally taken place.
Oh.
Yes, and it also explained why Atreyu and Falco are later seen being given medicine by the gnomes.
Oh yeah, that seemed random.
Yeah, you're like, where did they get
going
hurt?
on here?
Yeah, I mean, they can
Yeah.
write it off as he had to travel to the end of, for so many miles something
Fantasia.
happened. Yeah, but now that makes so much more sense.
Yes. The second cut scene involved Atreyu and Falcor encountering the Wind Giants, giant creatures made of clouds, and being caught in a fight between them.
Wow.
Whoa.
Oh, okay.
Another visual I would love to have seen.
Right.
Wow.
Man. And they wouldn't have gone cheap on it because this whole thing, the special effects in this movie were outrageous. So, oh man, that would have been
Think
cool.
how they would
Yeah.
even do that back then, like an
I-
attempt,
Cotton swabs, man.
There you go. Yeah.
Stop motion cotton swabs.
There we go.
Or like how they did the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Yeah. But they had to they ended up re-editing all of that into their close encounter with the Nothing before Atreyu falls into the sea. You remember that part? So that's where that encounter would have taken place at that
Gotcha.
point of
Okay.
the movie. And I would have loved to see that. Sounds so cool.
That sounds ambitious, sir.
Yes.
It does. It absolutely does.
And I would have loved to have seen it. I would have loved to have seen the attempt at it because, like, Gort the Wolf, looking at him as an adult, I'm like, he looks ridiculous.
But dude, as a kid, he was the scariest
The
thing
wolf?
ever made.
Scary.
Gort.
Yeah, the wolf.
Okay, so
He was so scary.
The
He had the big
eyes-
teeth and the big eyes.
the eyes
Yeah.
were piercing. Like
Yes.
they
Yeah.
freaked me out when I was a kid. Like when they
100%.
when they would go wide and he'd look at a trail with those wide green eyes, you're just like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that is just scary as shit.
Absolutely.
Man,
Absolutely.
gets me
I-
every time, dude. Just like, and when he's just like, and those eyes just like look like they're about to pop out of his skull.
Yeah.
Dude, it was,
Like,
it was
and it was
crazy.
just the eyes. Like, you didn't see the whole of them until later. But those eyes, they just got me. Every time I saw them, I would run away. I would just run up the stairs because the TV was downstairs.
Nice.
Let's kind of real quick. Let's talk about like these creatures that were created for the film. So Falcor is a
Yeah.
43-foot long motorized creature with 6,000 plastic scales and pink feather fur. His head alone is 3 feet tall and long and has a long tongue in the mouth. It took a
Yeah, I remember that tongue.
Okay. It took a team of 25 puppeteers to bring Falcor to life. Each one operated an individual part of the body, from his mouth to his legs. One person was responsible for Falcor's nose, one for his eyebrows, one for the upper lip, one for the lower lip. And all the
His
dialogue
nose.
all the dialogue was pre-recorded, and so they had to
Right.
match all of that
Oh,
while they were
man.
shooting, which proved
When
to
I-
be very difficult.
I saw the movie. There is no way you could have convinced me that that wasn't a real animal.
Yeah,
Like,
100%.
I was like, that's real, and I need to find that. And you watch it now, like, it is like his nose. When he talks, his, like, kind of when we talk, our nose shifts and moves. His does too. It's like the very minute details in that thing were amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's as close as you get to, like, amazing, like, near perfect articulation with a puppet that size.
Yeah.
Like,
And they didn't even
the other version of that.
was gonna-
I was just going to say the other version of that was Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah.
And Frank Oz was like, hey, my Muppet crew, please come and, make this happen for me. And
Yeah.
that was spot on. Like, that was incredible.
Oh, yeah.
But again,
Audrey too was fantastic.
yeah.
They didn't even try to attempt to make him walk.
Thank goodness.
So while a 25-person team was needed to bring Falco to life, there was only one person that was required to bring the Rockbiter to life. So they
Really?
Yeah. It was a guy in a suit. It was a guy in a big suit.
Really?
Yeah.
I legitimately thought that was like more of a Jabba the Hutt situation where it's like 3 guys operating them inside of the suit or something.
That's what I thought. But that is not the case.
Kind of suit.
There's a
Dang
German documentary about the making of the film that reveals that Colin the Stunt Man, and I quote, that's what they called him, Colin the Stunt Man, would spend up to 2 hours at a time in the enormous suit.
Huh.
Wow.
When he was dehydrated, because he got dehydrated a lot in there, water was passed to him through openings in the suit.
Crazy.
Probably the mouth.
And
Wow.
the puppet, so the suit he was wearing, or the puppet / suit, whatever he was doing, it was later superimposed into the scene to make the Rockbiter appear larger than he really was.
Okay.
So they shot him on his own and then threw him in there.
I mean, it's beneficial that he was like such a slow talker, so he didn't need to worry about having like a quick rapport with the other characters necessarily.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially
Okay.
since it's just the guy inside moving everything.
Yeah, exactly.
You can actually ride on Falcor.
What the what?
Yeah. Falcor,
I mean,
the actual Falcor, I mean, obviously he's been refurbished and looks nice and all that stuff. He's
Good.
he's at Bavaria Film Park in Munich, Germany. And you can go hop on Falcor's back and get a photo.
Field
well,
trip.
that's just a luck. That's just a luck dragon flight away.
We can do this. I believe in us.
Munich,
And-
Germany. Is it Munich or Munich's? Or
Munich.
Yeah,
Munich.
Munich.
Ugh.
And then Falcor, Rockbiter, and Gamork were all voiced by the same person,
Crazy.
Alan Oppenheimer.
The guy who invented a nuclear bomb.
Yep.
He's a very busy
His
man.
name is Alan Oppenheimer. He might have been related to the guy who created the bomb. Who knows?
It's possible.
It
Nice.
really is.
Yeah.
When talking about, because you know how I told you that all the dialogue was pre-recorded and they had to get the mouths to move with it and stuff. When talking about that, Peterson remarked, there was a tape running with dialogue. You can imagine how many rehearsals they needed just to get one word right. It was absolutely ridiculous
goodness.
if you think about it today.
Yeah.
But it gives these creatures the special something by doing it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's that attention to detail that like you get with like animation, even, you know, observing how it works and then adding. It's that X factor that's like, this isn't realistic, but if I do this, it creates the illusion that it's realistic, that they're talking, you know?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's just one of the reasons why it's just always going to be a classic. And I don't know if... I'm sure there could be remakes of it. I'm sure there could be reboots of it, whatever you want to call it. But I don't think they will have the same mystique that the original has.
No. And then you just have that theme song. That lovely, lovely theme song.
Love the song. Oh, I love that song.
And again, that was only included in the American version. The Germans missed out on a beautiful, beautiful song.
Sure did.
That song was created by Limahl?
Mm-hmm. Sounds about right. I mean, it's probably one of the catchiest songs you will ever hear.
Oh, it's so good.
I've been singing it in my head the whole time we've been doing this podcast.
Hey, if you stick to the end, you might get something special.
Right. But like it's made such an impression on people that now it's made its way back with Stranger Things.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Oh yeah. That was great to have that like whole like moment in that season 3 and stuff. That was the best.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it made me emotional.
It kind of did, yeah.
Because all of
But
us
it was
want to
great
be
'cause it
able to
was-
sing that.
I know. It's
Yeah.
so good. But Before we go, because I think we're going to wrap it up here real quick. Or maybe not. Maybe we'll wrap it up real long. Who knows?
It's what we do.
Back in 2009, Warner Brothers teamed up with the Kennedy Marshall Company and Leonardo DiCaprio's company, where they planned to do another adaptation of the book that would have kind of been closer to the book and kind of dove more into those details that were left out in this film. It never happened, though. Fell apart, which is fine.
What? I thought I just missed it.
They had, yeah. Thank you. They had problems securing the rights to it, which is why they didn't do it. But with the way things are now, personally, I would love to see the book get a series adaptation.
Sure.
I would love to see this book told over the course of an 8 to 10 episode series.
Absolutely. A
There's
series
so much
would
you
be
can do. All those
amazing.
things we talked about, all diving into certain characters and stuff like that we love, like that would allow that to happen.
It allowed it to breathe. And honestly, it sounds like that was what the author wanted. He's like, what do you mean we can't shove all this into 2 hours? And it's like, yeah, that wouldn't have worked. But a series? Hell yeah, let's do it.
And you can do that now. Like now,
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
it's possible.
And
with
and
Warner
honestly,
Brothers owning with Warner Brothers having that connection to it, great series for HBO Max. Just throwing it out there.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Look, I'm so excited for the Willow series to come out.
Yes.
This would, if they made this into a series, it would make my life. Because these are stories that I've loved since the moment they were introduced into my life. And luckily, I've been able to give it to my kids. They're just as excited for the Willow series as I am.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But man, I mean, there was so much to talk about. So much to talk about.
There is. And we got, the Luck Dragon was on our side, and we got to have Droobles,
Yay.
Help us out with this, which Joey and I could talk to Drew all day long. I mean, that's just something that we could do. And we're so excited that you could be our first guest.
Yeah. I'm your first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Lucky me.
We're going to have more, but we thought this was important. This is something that we've been trying to get in motion with Drew for a while, and we're really thankful that we'll be able to bring his podcast out to the world, something new and fun to add to the GeekTyrant brand, and we're really excited to be working with him again.
Yeah, so keep a lookout for that. Again, everybody, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. It's been great. Obviously, we love this movie so much. Thank you again. Always follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, @GT Secret Level. We post behind the scenes stuff for the films we talk about. We post videos, we post photos. We share all kinds of stuff. So if you want to check out some of these things that we discuss, go there.
Please, I promise I'm going to be better about pictures.
Leave reviews.
Please leave reviews.
5-star. 5 stars. Why not?
I left a review.
Sweet. Thanks, Drew.
It's my favorite.
Yeah, jump on board, invite your friends, bring them along this movie nostalgia journey with us. And
it only gets better, guys. Every episode, I feel like you've been getting better.
Oh, thank goodness.
We're trying.
Heck yeah. So thank you again, and you'll hear from us again soon with our next episode.
All right, thanks, guys.
Goodbye. Oh, what? But if you stick around, that's all I'm going to say. Okay, bye. All right, guys. Let's belt this out real quick.
So, do you want to do all the verses, or you just want to do the first two?
We're gonna do them all, dude.
Oh my goodness.
We're doing the whole song. You ready?
Yeah.
Here we go.
You know I'm ready. I'm the worst singer in the world. This is gonna be fantastic.
It's gonna be the best.
Yes, the best, Jerry. The best.
And okay, gotta get the tone. Turn around and look at what you see in her face.
Her face.
The mirror of your dreams. Make believe I'm everywhere. Giving the light. Written on the pages is the answer to the never-ending story. Oh, reach the stars. Fly a fantasy. Dream a dream. And what you see
will be
rhymes that keep their secret will unfold behind the clouds. And there upon the rainbow is the answer to a never-ending story. Never-ending story. Okay.
I love that. Yes.
If you stayed and listened to that,
You win.
you're the best.
You're welcome.
You'll never hear anything better. Never.
Never. And we're out.